You've been told to post more content. The truth? More content without strategy just leaves your prospects wandering off. Today, we're going to talk about how to change that around. Because ultimately, likes don't equal clients. The real goal isn't just content, it's conversion. And, sometimes your audience finds the right post at the right time and buys. That's luck. But most prospects find you earlier in their journey before they're ready to buy. And if you don't have the content they need for their next step, they go elsewhere. The customer journey is the path people take when they're trying to solve a problem or fill a need. Starting from when they first realize they have a problem, or maybe they don't even truly understand the problem, they're just feeling the pain, to then discovering, considering solutions, to then deciding to buy. And then continuing on as loyal customers who stick with you, continue to buy, and share your message with others. Now, in this video, we're going to just focus on the first three, getting to the point where your customers, your prospects, decide to buy. Now, one of the key things in helping them move forward in that customer journey is to help address all of the needs or questions a person has as they move from first hearing about you to deciding to buy. So as we talked about, the first part is awareness. Now there's a number of drivers, and within each customer journey stage, so we have the 5 stages, within each stage, I've identified 7 drivers that are part of that address the needs and the questions that your prospects have as they're moving forward in that stage. And so some of the ones for awareness are things like curiosity. You got to take advantage of that. You got to understand their desire and address it. You've got to understand their problem and the pain they're experiencing and help them understand the stakes of not addressing it. You also want to help them understand what's the possibility, what's the future vision of how things could be better. And there's more. Then in consideration, same thing. You've got to build rapport. You need to work through misconceptions. You need to help them compare. They are going to know that there's other products out there. They're going to search for other ones. And so help them do that comparison. Make it easier. Show them that you're there to help them find the solution that's best for them. You're not here to sell them something. You're here to find the right solution for them. And sometimes that could be something else. But you want to, if you're the right product and they're the right customer for you, they're going to see that if you're there to help them. And then, of course, another way to help them understand that is to do a demo, which we're actually going to do today. And then moving on to decision, building the trust, working through the uncertainty, helping them sense that urgency and take action, and so forth. And so those are the 7 drivers in each of these. So altogether, there's 21 of them. And for the sake of time, I'm not going through all of them right now. But as we go through, one of the key things we need to understand is you probably hear a lot about content pillars, how they, using those to plan your content. And don't get me wrong, content pillars are great and they're valuable, but I think a lot of people do content pillars without understanding that their content needs to be more strategically directed, working through that customer journey to help them purchase a specific product or service. And sometimes, especially if we have multiple products or services, we have stuff going all over the place and our customers struggle to really understand what it is that you can do to help them with a specific problem they have. Because you might have multiple products that help them in different stages of their overall customer journey, because your product may help them through this problem. And then when they have that problem fixed, they might have the next problem. You may have another product at that point. If you don't help them understand which problem you're helping them solve and then have content directed specifically at that solution you're providing to that specific problem, they're going to get lost along the way a lot of the time. And with content pillars, you can give lots of different content, but if it's not helping them on that customer journey to that specific product or service, a lot of the times you're going to lose your customers. And you probably found it. You're giving great content and you're like, why are they not converting? Well, it's because you're not focused on this is the problem they have, this is your solution, and are you guiding them through the steps they need to take to get to the decision, the confidence to move forward and use that solution. And so with content pillars, they're great. They give you topics. They help you with consistency and authority, but they don't always guide the buyers forward. Now, in contrast, what I'm going to be talking to you more about is about that purposeful content, where we focus on the questions and needs of your audience at each stage of the customer journey, and that we ensure that the content leads people step by step towards a decision to buy. Now, admittedly, one of the benefits the pillars have that maybe purposeful content doesn't focus on as much is, content pillars give you that sense of broader themes to work around. And so, instead of it being content pillars versus purposeful content, keep in mind that you can, of course, combine them and really focus on building that purposeful content that we're going to talk about, but still knowing that you have those content pillars and those themes behind it, so that can kind of drive how you approach a lot of your content. And so that's where we can really guide buyers forward while still using those broader themes. So as we do purposeful content, we need to know who is your ideal client, what is their big problem, and what is your solution to that problem. And then we're going to focus on creating content to guide them to that solution. So one of the best ways to do this, I find, is to go through and actually do a demo. Show people how things are done. That's one way you help people understand, work through their concerns, their questions. And so I recently got a message from Charlie Hills about a new LinkedIn bootcamp he and Fatima Khan are doing. It's starting next week. So I thought I would do it on that and show you how this process works. So both of them are great experts in the area of LinkedIn. Charlie also does a lot with LinkedIn and AI. So they joined forces, and I'm going to take their sales page for their LinkedIn bootcamp, show you how this works and how it all came together and how I pulled some of their pieces together to generate all of this. For the materials I gathered, I went to their sales page that Charlie had sent me to. I also went and used Perplexity. I had a simple prompt that just says, go to both of their go online and find anything where they've referenced and posted about their upcoming boot camp. So it found a bunch of them, gave me the links. And then also one of the things it found is they had done a live call promoting the boot camp and talking about how to get to 10,000 subscribers on LinkedIn. So I pulled in this transcription from that, using AI. And then I also grabbed a sample piece of content from Fatima. So I had some of the voice and style. So with these pieces, I was able to use AI to bring that all together, bring in the transcription from the live call, and then I'm going to use that as my source material for generating all of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to first extract the insights from all of the content that I gathered together. Then we're going to generate the strategic content ideas. And so we're going to do 3 content ideas for each of the 21 customer journey drivers. So that'll give us 63 content ideas, which is more than enough for a 30-day content plan. And we'll talk about how we go about doing all of that. So let's dive in. So what we're going to do is, first off, I just thought I'd kind of pop over and show you. So this is the sales page that Fatima and Charlie put together. So Master LinkedIn in 4 weeks. And so they have a little video about it, what's included with it, the curriculum, some testimonials, who the target audience is, the price, a little bit of background about them, and then some frequently asked questions. So standard sales page, you did a good job. And then I won't bother for the sake of time pulling up each of the posts, but they talked about it in a number of different things and did a great live call on this. If you want to see the live call, it's on their, they post to it on LinkedIn, so you can find that. So what I did is I took all of that, and I have some prompts that also work with. So one, I fed it my 21 customer journey drivers. So I have detailed about what those are, how they work, what are the emotional and logical angles with all of that, and a description of each. So I fed that along with all the content, and then a prompt saying, I want you to extract insights for each of these 21 customer journey drivers from the content I gave you with the sales page and all of those other things. So what that looks like is now with each of the 21 drivers, so the very first one in awareness is spark curiosity. So for each of these, I have a question. What am I trying to find out from their content? So I said, what surprising, counterintuitive, or intriguing ideas in the business owner's content could stop the audience from scrolling and make them want to learn more? So it grabs some insights into it, either from the sales page, the post, the live stream, whatever the case may be. And then what are some of the kind of key takeaways? Did the same thing for driver 2. Now, the reason I did this to first extract the insights is, in all transparency, I tried to do the first prompt and pull it all at once, but it was so much information, it just didn't do it well. And so what I found a lot of the time in working with AI is, let's take this in steps. And so first I said, this is the information I want to use, which is these 21 customer journey drivers. So let's extract it from their posts, their content, the sales page, all of that stuff first. And then once I have it kind of summarized, then I'm going to generate content ideas. So these are the insights. There's 21 of them, going through all of them, from illuminate the problem and stakes, reframe the struggle, introduce the possibility, all of those. So we have all of the insights. And then, as I talked about, once we have those insights from the 21 for each customer journey driver, then what we want to do is generate the content ideas. So another prompt. Now it uses everything else we had in addition to those insights. Now I still have a point to all of the other content for this next prompt to create the content ideas, because all the source material has more detail. But I use the insights to kind of be that summary tool. And then, now we're going to generate the content ideas. So another prompt that I refined. And then what we get from all of that is, so for driver 1, which is spark curiosity, once again, here we've got our question: what surprising, counterintuitive, or intriguing ideas could stop the audience from scrolling? So one of the ones in the content was where Charlie talked about how one of his first LinkedIn posts got only 1 like. And, it just, it was frustrating and everything else. But of course, today he has well over 100,000 followers and stuff. And so just that contrast from failure to growth, can be a big thing. Another one was, talking about, what's one habit that tripled my reach? And it wasn't posting more. So sometimes it's just that counterintuitive thing that can catch people's attention. And so that's for sparking curiosity. And what I did is, I have 3 ideas. Now I could have produced 5 ideas or 10 ideas for each driver. I chose 3 because we got 21 journey drivers. If we want to do a content plan for, say, 21 days or 30 days or whatever, generally you don't need it too long. And so I created 3 ideas so that you could choose from one of them, because each, you might not like every single idea generated. So you'll have 3 to choose from. I did suggest, which habit suggest which one get recommended as the top pick, but obviously you don't have to pick that one. And so for driver 1, for driver 2, defining the desire, we've got, 3 different ideas here. And so you can go through each of these. And like I said, if you wanted to choose, generate 5, you could. And within each of these, not only do we talk about, okay, well, what's the idea, but we kind of understand, okay, well, describe it in a little bit more detail. So here's more of like the hook, though it can, of course, be tightened up. Explain what it is, why it's relevant, in a little bit more detail, and then how it relates to the driver itself. And then also, a suggestion on what kind of format, because you don't want to do the same format for every single piece of content. So this one, it suggested that a visual carousel of a before and after, fits this kind of content. This one is just maybe a text post with a strong hook. This one could be a quick tip video for, your first one could be just one post away. And so depending upon each of these, this one where you're posting and hearing crickets and you tell about in the past where you really struggled, that's the sort of thing that's more of a story style post. And so each of these is going to be different. Some are better with videos. Some may be a frequently asked questions. Some might just be a quote. Some of it might be more data oriented, maybe an infographic. Whatever the case may be, you can generate these. But the great part about all of this is once you're going through this, in the past, you've probably used tools. You can hear it all the time online that, AI can give you all your content ideas. It can produce it all. You're good to go. But what you're finding is there's so much noise now that people are using AI to generate their content. It's not really connecting with the audience. And ultimately, with all of this, if you skip some of these steps, the customer, when they're going through this, you might grab their attention, but then if you're not helping them really connect with their pain, they're not going to think you really understand. They're going to be going out there, they're going to find somebody else who is connecting with them. They're going to go, oh, well, they get me. And then they're going to continue following the other person if that person is helping them go through those steps. And so it's absolutely critical to understand the steps your customer is going through and be there to guide them through that process and link all of these together. Because as we do, like I talked about the chain, if you have a chain that links all of these steps together, it's going to be so strong. They're just going to keep moving forward on that process until they are ready to say yes. And so ultimately, as we do this, we can use the content, we can create more, we can create less. I mean, sometimes you can combine, a couple of them into one if you're trying to do it faster, but I would recommend being careful about skipping some of these because that's where you might lose them. And you may think, well, that driver's not so important. Well, maybe not to you, but it might be to your client. And so you want to look through and understand all of these drivers and make sure that you're addressing them. And so I would just say, if you would like to create content that converts, would you like a strategic content plan that addresses all 21 customer drivers? And would you like me to create all 63 content ideas for that content plan? If so, I encourage you to click the link in my bio, and I'll send you details about how you can begin creating content that consistently converts your ideal customers to your product or service.